short break. I think that break was supposed to be longer than that. I don't know. I don't know if it's raining out there, but we're going to find out because we have somebody in the studio who's just out there. Ellen Wilds is in the studio. She is a Republican candidate for governor. Oh, my gosh. That's awesome.
Well, thank you.
She's in the studio to talk to us about what she would like to do if she is elected to be the first female governor of the state of Florida. Am I right?
I know, fun, right?
Am I right about that? Okay, I'm sure I'm right. Good morning, Ellen. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So where do you live? Where's home?
I actually live in Claremont, and to answer your earlier question, it's not raining, it's just very wet out there.
Yeah, I know. There's some kind of a disturbance in the Gulf of Mexico, and I think this is part of it. Not to scare anybody, when you say the word disturbance, people think hurricanes, and I guess they are keeping an eye on it, but it doesn't look like it's going that way.
Yeah, it just looks like a lot of rain over the next several days.
Do you know, speaking of governors and speaking of storms, Robin and I had the privilege, pleasure, honor. We were in Jeb Bush's office one time when he was tracking a storm.
Oh.
And he was just doing it the same way we all do. Just went to his computer, went to the Weather Channel. But then, of course, he can make issue statements to the whole state about what we should do. So isn't that cool?
That is very cool. Governor Scott last year, when Irma and all the rest of the hurricanes came through, he did a wonderful job making sure that Florida was prepared.
Yeah, I agree.
He did a really good job.
I agree. I felt proud that he was in Jerusalem yesterday, too. It was kind of cool. So tell me about what you want to do. It says here you've got some issues that we want to talk about. School reform is one of them.
Well, I think one of the reasons that I decided to become a candidate was because I think it's time that the people actually take back the government from the politicians. That's like a big thing because we see so many political movements, and I want to see politicians or people get elected into office and take public service to the extent of it actually is public service. Mm-hmm. And as far as school reform goes, that's a hot issue on everyone's topic. I think we need to change the way we look at education, change the way we look at intelligence. A lot of kids will never do well on standardized testing, but that doesn't mean that they're not smart and that they're not capable of accomplishing something. We do need to bring vocational programs back into schools for our high schoolers minimally. Plumbing, electricians, air conditioner.
Absolutely, yeah.
That is a huge market in
Everybody
Florida.
is not cut out to be academic in nature, right? And a lot of I remember this when I was in school too, and I don't even know where I fell into all of that. It's been so long ago. But I know it was just a better career choice to take up a vocation as opposed to, trying to fit into the square peg in the round hole of being a dentist or a doctor, which is fine for those people who can do that.
People need to find what's right for them, and kids need to find what's right for them, and we need to allow kids to find the direction that suits them and which direction they need to go. And once they find that direction, we need to help them achieve that because we can. I mean, our education system is so capable of helping these kids reach the highest points.
So one of the differences, I think, between a career politician and a business person that takes the job, and Donald Trump is an example of this, like him or not, that's the truth about him, right? He's a businessman, is that I think those who've done politics for a long time get used to the idea of something taking a long time to actually happen. I guess because they're cautious about checks and balances to give them benefit of the doubt. But I think a business person says, you know what, we need more vocational schools here, let's do it. And I think it happens quicker because in the business world, you can't make things drag out. Do you think I'm accurate on that?
I think you're accurate on that. I also think that politicians, once they've done it for so long, when they get into their third, fourth, fifth term, they start sitting there going, oh man, what if I make this set of people mad, or what if I make?
Yeah.
And I personally, I'm not worried about making anyone mad. I want to do what's in the best interest of Florida to the best of my ability, and I want to surround myself with people that can help me make those decisions because I don't know everything.
So can you give us some details about the things you want to do? Let's go back first of all to the first thing, which was the vocational schools. What needs to be done to make that happen? Do we need money shifted from one place to another?
I think we need money shifted from one place to another. I would have to review, where our school system's set as far as financing. I think that some school systems would be a better start for it.
Well, how do we do it here in Marion County? We have a wonderful vocational school. Do we do things differently here? And could every district do that same thing?
No, I don't think what's going to work in a place like here will work in a place like Live Oak, which is extremely small.
Okay.
I think that we need to shift our programs, especially I would start with the high schools and start offering vocational programs in the high schools with vocational teachers and allow the kids to actually choose items that they want to learn or choose things that they want to learn. Mechanics is a great example. I hear a lot of kids say that, they want to be a mechanic. They will probably never pass a standardized writing segment of a test.
And some of them can, yeah.
Right, but they can look at one of those engine
can fix the car.
diagrams,
Yeah.
and they can look at it, and it has 500 arrows pointing to different things, and they can tell me what that means.
Yeah.
I could read 7 manuals and never understood what that. I would never
I hear what you're
understand what
saying,
that
yeah.
diagram
And
means.
so those students need to be, they need to have that opportunity to take that skill
Right.
and make it into a career.
And we need to have people in the high schools and teachers in the high schools that can offer, teach that and offer that. And we need to get away from standardized testing and not worry about whether or not, let me put it this way. A friend of mine once said to me, he goes, you're not going to ask someone who's trying out for the New York Symphony to write an essay. You're just not. So we need to get away from saying, you have to do this and you have to do this perfectly before you can achieve this mechanical vocational education degree or however
okay.
we want to word it. So we need to take that aspect out of it. We want everyone to have the basic skills. Everyone needs to have the basic skills. But I've seen some of those tests and, you missed 3 commas, and people are like,
So let's move on to a different topic. We've got a very short visit with you. I hope you come back. That would be nice if you come back.
I would love to. Thank you.
Tell me about your thoughts on the gun issue. I know that this is on everybody's mind. We're kind of split down the middle with our opinions about guns.
Basically, between the Pulse and then Parkland and several of the other shootings around America, gun issue and gun safety is a very high priority. I think that if someone wants to own, and I've talked to a lot of gun owners, and I believe that if someone wants to own those high-end weapons, assault rifles, that they need to have a specialized permit so that they can buy and sell those weapons. And I think that we need a tracking system so that if I buy an AR-15, if I have that specialized license and I can go in and buy an AR-15, and I turn around and I want to sell it, a year later to someone else, then there has to be a tracking system so that we know where that weapon goes. And when I've talked to gun owners, every responsible gun owner that I've talked to has said they don't have a problem with that, because no one wants to see those weapons get into the hands of terrorists or criminals or people with known mental health issues.
Right. Well, and every time you make something illegal, everybody knows that somebody who doesn't care about the law will find a way to break that law.
There's always going to be a way to find a way to break the law, but if we find better ways to track and better ways to do this, then we can at least limit some of those people. And you won't be able to go into a Walmart and buy an AR-15 and walk out of the store in the same day.
How would you protect the schools?
Schools is a big issue. Our population in schools, I'm not sure about Marion County, but I know that in Orlando, some of the schools have populations of 2,000 and 3,000 kids going to.
Yeah, here too, yeah.
Yeah, going to one single school.
Yeah.
You can have one SRO for that many students, school resource officer for that many students. It really doesn't apply. I mean, they can't do a lot with 1 to a 3,000 ratio. And I do like the plan of having more school resource officers in the schools. I have problems with arming teachers because if there is an incident and if law enforcement goes in there and they see a teacher who has a gun that is protecting the student, they're not going to know that that person is a teacher who has a gun, who's trying to protect their classroom. They might think that that teacher is the shooter. So it puts those people that want to be armed in schools.
Yeah, I have issues with that idea too. I've heard the president say it, and It's a tough one. I do think that the reason that Marion County looked good when we had an incident that could have been horrible back a month ago or so is because we put into place, Dr. Heidi Mayer was just here, superintendent of schools, because she put into place the Alice protocol to lock the doors. I mean, there's a simple way to kind of nip something in the bud a little bit. Just keep the doors locked, you know.
I think it's very sad that we actually have to have those kind of drills in our schools where you teach kids, lock the doors, barricade the doors.
Yeah.
But if that's going to keep our kids safe, and I think that we need to have a way to have better response times, better panic buttons, where as soon as something happens, law enforcement is notified and can get out there immediately. We don't need 2 minutes to go by. I know in most shootings, most damage is done in the first 5 minutes.
Ellen Wild is our guest right now. We have a very short visit with you, and I'm looking at the clock, and I'm just so distracted by the fact that we have to wrap it up. The political rules are so weird with the FCC. So let me let the listeners know how to find out more about you. The things we didn't talk about are employment. It's important to you. Public assistance. The environment is important. The infrastructure. I got a road you need to fix too. Crime, of course. So are all of your thoughts on all these subjects on your website? Or is there,
Yes, they are.
Yeah? What's that website address?
It's ellenwildsfloridasvoice.org.
Okay, say it again, please.
ellenwildsfloridasvoice.org.
Okay. Ellen, thank you for driving up here to be with us today. I know it was short, but keep us in mind. Don't, because we're recording this, so this will be up as a podcast. And everybody share this. Ellen Wild's running for governor. Have you ever held a political office?
I have not.
Wow.
Actually, I'm holding a full-time job while I'm running for political office.
Is that right? Well, good for you. Nice to meet you, Ellen. Thank you for coming up here, and congratulations. It's a very courageous thing to do, to put yourself in front of the public to ask questions like this. So.
And thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're absolutely welcome. Thank you. We will take a little break. Be right back.